Hello, it's Kiki. Hello. It is January 8th, 3:15. And it is time. And I'm ready for this. I am so ready for this. Hi, Editor Kiki here. I am a mess, so don't mind my discouraging look. I just wanted to shoot in here real quick because I'm a dumbass and I did not say it in the beginning. I don't know why I didn't say it in the beginning because I feel like I didn't really even do an intro. I just exhaustedly started talking about the book. But a little forewarning, this is a spoiler vlog. I am going full into spoiler mode. If you have read the book, keep on watching. If you really just don't want to read the book and you just want to know like the key notes to the book, keep watching. If you have it on your TBR and you are thinking about reading it and it's really been interesting to you, stop right now and maybe go read it and then come back to this video because I do spoil quite a bit. I make notes in here. I had several things I had to say and feelings and theories, and yes, so this is your warning. Please, if you don't want to be spoiled, don't make me the person who spoils it for you. If you want to read it, I suggest you stop right here. Okay, cool. That is it. Bye. First things first, I haven't got too far into it. That was a very long prologue, and I didn't understand why it mattered until the final end of it, and I'm just like, ah, got it. I think I know where this is going. I get it now. So, there's always that. And then a little bit of Bryce being in the ballet to support, all of a sudden I forgot her name, Juniper. All of a sudden I remembered her name. But they're like, her mom and her dad are like, and her are like looking at statues or paintings or something. And that's as far as I've gotten. But yeah, haven't really got too far to say anything other than that, other than I'm reading this and we're going to see how I feel about it and how it goes. So yeah, here we go. It is the next day and I have done little to no reading. I did some reading today. I started today because I'm not on, but I'm watching some reading sprints from some booktube friends, and it's kind of motivating me. It helps me a little bit more to actually read when a reading sprint is happening. But besides the point, I am at, oh god, the thing is so thick. I'm at the 100-page mark. It's really nothing because this is such a big baby. But I don't know, like that black ribbon is where it ends. This little tassel thingy is where I'm at right now. So I got some ways to go. There's a better view right there, probably. Show you how much I've read and how much I need to read. But I'm really enjoying this book so far. So again, I feel like I just need to say it just in case. I am about to spoil a bunch of stuff because I just feel like I need to talk about it. So where I'm at, what I've read so far, I'm gonna go ahead and just do it by chapter. Bryce and her parents were enjoying a ballet that featured Juniper, which I love that Juniper's back and that she is still doing her dancing thing. And apparently Bryce and Hunt are like taking a sabbatical of their relationship because they don't want to rush into anything, but they're not doing a good job of it because they're just like they keep flirting with each other, keeps looking at each other, they keep thinking about stuff, and they can feel that there's something going on, and it's really funny. I love that part. I thought that was awesome. And then there was like the bickering mother as well. It was a perfect little nutshell of chaos, even in a fantasy book. And I really like that. Family chaos. Then they go to a party, and my baby, I love Rune Dannon. Mm, chapter 3, the start of chapter 3. It was perfect. Oh, Rune Denon. Ugh, I love that man. But anyways, yes. So that all happened, and then we meet this fucking new character who, well, first of all, I also, before the new character came around, I just loved how much they just kind of found a happiness that happened with the whole situation that happened in the last book. I feel like it happened a lot in that sentence, but it's okay. We'll go with it. That they're just kind of going back to normalcy. They're drinking, they're having a keg party. There's like people doing keg stands and playing beer pong, and it's so funny to me, just like the idea of these fantasy characters doing such normal things. And then chapter 3, just don't even talk to me about it. I can't. The first like little paragraph of chapter 3 makes me happy, so I love that. But then we meet Cormac. And Cormac comes in and goes, "Hey, I'm here to fuck up your whole night. Let's go. Let's do this thing." And he fucking says, "Yeah, funny enough, that girl with the shiny chest, that's my bride. I'm gonna marry that girl. And no one can say anything about it. And that's just how it's gonna be." And of course, he was like, "Oh, and then I just also wanted to make sure she actually had like this power, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to be a complete dick and just like ruin your party. Also, I'm going to remind Rune Dannon that I almost fucking killed you. I almost killed you and your friends. So, okay, bye." That was literally the whole chapter, was Cormac coming in and going, "You know what? Yeah. Yeah, I am the problem. It is me. Hi." He is definitely the start of a Taylor Swift song. And then chapter 5 was all about, I'm going to say his name wrong because I always say these little mystical names wrong. Therion. I love Therion, but you didn't get too much of him in the first book, so I'm really glad that he's got like a whole chapter. But he has something to do with trying to recover the body from the prologue that is in here. So that's strange. I don't know why his people wants the body. It has something to do with her being a thunderbolt or something, which I'm not really quite understanding too much. I think she has like the power kind of like of Thor, where she has like the ability to like bring thunder and lightning, or if she has the power to control like weather. I'm sure because they also brought up the fact that like the storms started making the ocean kind of get rolly and all that stuff, and so I'm wondering if she like, pretty much what I'm saying is, was she a Thor or was she a storm? I'm not really sure yet, and I'm sure they'll like explain it a little bit more. Also, there's a lot of like world building in this. There's a lot of like dropping things here and there, and you just have to like keep up. So there's that. I read a lot of chapters, like 100. It's really crazy. Let's see. Oh yeah, while everything was happening after Bryce and Hunt went home, they end up finding out that a bruised and battered Ethan was like at their front door or something like that. And so, of course, they brought him in, they healed him up. Um, Bryce was like, I know Hunt's going to kill you, so just sleep in the same bed with me. And Hunt was like, I don't think so. And she was like, I don't think so. Oh, I love Bryce. I love Bryce so much because she's such a, like a strong, independent character. But she's like, yeah, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and you're not gonna tell me what to do. Especially since we're on like this weird hiatus where right now we're just consider each other like roomies, but we're also flirting with each other. So like you're still not gonna tell me what to do, which I love a whole lot. But yeah, so she asked him like all the stuff. You end up finding out that God, I forgot what her name is, but it's the leader of the wolf pack. Just, of course, started saying some like fucked up, rude shit about Bryce because she just can't help herself. She's just rude like that. And of course, Ethan, being Ethan, who actually was there helping Bryce in the first book, was like, no, that's not how it happened. She's actually a hero. She's fucking amazing for what she did, and she should be recognized for her heroic act she did that day. Of course, the lady, mean wolf lady, decided she didn't like that too much, so she told her and the whole pack to like pretty much beat him to a pulp, almost tried to kill him, but they couldn't because I think it has something to do with healing powers. So they're like, obviously, you're going to heal faster than Russ be able to kill you. So we're just going to leave you to die pretty much. But someone from the pack, like, still allowed Ethan to, like, be taken to Bryce's house. So because she knew he and her were friends. But then also that just feels like that wasn't the case. It probably was almost like a warning towards Bryce as well to be like, hey, this is what happens when someone vouches for you. Watch your mouth because God, was it Amelie? Was it Amelia or Amelie? Amelie someone. Oh God, why do I want to say Cersei? I definitely know it's not Cersei. That's the wrong book franchise. Sabine. And that sucks too because I know like Sabine as a heroic person from Star Wars Rebels, who is a favorite character of mine. For Sarah J. Maas to name just the most awful person, Sabine as well, just makes me a little bit like blech, blech. But it's fine. It's fine. It's her book. It's fine. And you also find out after that chapter that Rune Danon starts talking to his dad, be like, why the fuck are you doing this? Don't do this to Bryce. This is stupid. He's stupid. He didn't say that, but in his own words, he said that pretty much. And then, of course, the Autumn King being the Autumn King, he vouched everything for Cormac, whatever this fucker his name is, Cormac. And it was just like, what's gonna happen? And you're gonna still marry Hypaxia, and that's still happening. Do you remember that? Do you remember that when you were? It's fine. But then like a weird bomb was dropped again. Sarah J. Maas just going, okay, we're just gonna put this here. So boom, this is new information. And not only is she that's like a witch, but she's also a necromancer, and that's like real negative in the eyes of the Autumn King. But he's like, regardless, it's happening. Rune Danon knowing full and well, like, that's not how it's gonna happen. The Oracle told me something completely different than what you're telling me, but okay, Dad, I'm marrying Hypaxia, you know. So that's pretty much that. While everything is happening, Hunt is also dealing with the fact that when he's not getting angry about the idea of Ethan sharing a bed with his Bryce and his bed, his words, he's also getting very anxious about the idea that there is a replacement for Micah now, and he's still worried that even though he is a free elf, someone gave him a sock. Sorry, That was, Hunt is a free elf. He's worried that it's going to be taken back because from what he's known from the two archangels that he's had to deal with is they're not great. They're kind of shitty. They're kind of all about the torturing and slavery and all that stuff. And he's like, But he meets her, and her name is Celestina. It's pretty much Christina, but with a Celeste in it. So it's like Celestina. I think that might actually be it. Celestina. I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. But that's her name, and she sounds like she's being pretty cool right now. She gave Isaiah his rights to be the leader and all that stuff. But of course, being Hunt, he doesn't trust it. He doesn't believe in it. And he thinks that she's just a big old fat liar. Because he remembers when Micah said all the same things that she was saying. And he knows like that you fall for it, and then all of a sudden you end up in a trap, and you're back into with a little crown on your forehead. And then Carmack, whatever his fucking name is, decides to show up at Bryce's work and decides to be disgusting with her and be like, you know what? You'll enjoy sleeping with me. You'll enjoy being my wife and my subservient. You should probably start doing better at being subservient now while you still have this chance, because you need to start learning. This bullshit, like, misogyny bull coming out of his mouth, like, just utter shit just comes out of this boy's mouth. I can't even. What else is happening? Oh, and she also talked with Jessa, who she hasn't seen in like forever. Supposedly she went missing, and then all of a sudden she just appeared again. And I guess I think she's still working for Jessica. But it's not Griffin Antiques anymore, I don't think. Which I wish I was wearing my Griffin Antiques sweatshirt, but I'm wearing my Dyad shirt instead. Wrong franchise. Yeah, but so far that is where I am at. Right now, Hunt is still talking with the new Archangel. She seems cool, he seems hesitant, but we'll see if she comes through. All hints are pointing towards no. Because also the Hind was mentioned again. And I don't remember if the Hind was mentioned by talking about her or talking about someone else. I will probably do another update here when I get to the 50% mark, which is going to be a lot. So I will try to make these summaries a little bit better. But again, I knew these were going to be long ones. I have a lot of things to say, and I really don't want to be able to hold back on him. So it is going to be what it is. So I will see you when I get to the 50% mark. Hello, I am coming from my room, and I am just makeshifting a stand at this point because I can't hold for very long, and I don't like how shaky it is. So we're gonna do it this way. I am not yet at the 50% mark from the house of, well, let me go get it. Holy shit. I'm never prepared. Okay, back. I am not 50% left in the house of Sky and Breath, which does still to me sounds very Zelda-like. I don't know. Also, if you want to know, I am wearing a little shower thing right now because I just took a shower from coming back from work, and I needed to do this, and I'm losing daylight, so I decided to go ahead and just do this. I'm gonna free my ears though because it's starting to make my ears itchy. Okay, I look weird. Just it's my chaotic life. If you haven't seen my other videos, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say that. That's all I can say at this point. On to what I was gonna say. I am not at the 50% mark yet of the book because it is a trek to get to the 50% mark of this book. It is a lot. It is, let's see. I am about, let me move that. I am about right there. And that is the end right there where that blue little ribbon is. And I have all of this. Well, I have all of this left. And that is because I'm not even done. I got done with the first part of this. It's like 3 or 4 parts. It kind of bums you out because you're like, I'm so far away. I'm so far away. Also, another reason why I'm going ahead and doing this before the 50% mark is because I got about like 4 1/4 pages filled out of just thoughts I had while I was reading. And I feel like if I don't separate these, I'm going to lose my mind. My memory is like real bad, so I like had to write down almost everything just to be like, I want to make sure I'm getting every single little detail so the Sarah J stands don't come in here and be like, you forgot this. And I didn't want that, so I overdid it with the notes, but they're still good notes, so we're gonna go through them and hopefully that will give me a new clean slate. So when I start the second part, then maybe I'll just do the second part of the notes for that part in the next clip, because it's not looking like the 50% mark is going to be doable. So in my handy dandy Adam Driver notebook, I will be telling you my notes and how I was feeling. When we left off, Hunt was still very hesitant about the new archangel. Her name was Celestia or something like that. She seemed like she was like really good on paper. She seemed really nice. She seemed like she was not like the other archangels. I'm not like the other archangels, but he's hesitant because he's had a past, he's had a trauma, he's seen what Serial has done, and he saw what Micah did. Is it Micah or is it Mika? I'm gonna call him Micah because I like that name a lot more better than Mika. Or maybe I should call him Mika because I don't like him. Never. I was right in the middle of that chapter, so fun place to start. I said the Terraria. Oh, that was another thing. So we met the Triaria. I'm also, just a little side note before I finish this off, I'm not gonna say these names correct. I am Southern, I have a lisp, so like, take it easy on me, okay? I know I'm not saying it correctly, but just like, unless for some reason I'm so off on the name, I'm just saying it because I don't like that character. Little side note. So the Triaria, we got Pollux Antonius and Baxian Argos, who's also known as the Hammer and the Hellhound. And honestly, when I heard that, I imagined there's this, I don't know if it's just in Texas or not, but there's like this TV lawyer that you always see commercials with, and he's like, his name is, he's got a name, but then he goes by the Hammer, you know, and he goes, I sued my woman for $225 million because she didn't fix me my dinner. I could do that for you. So like, that was kind of in my mind as I heard the Hammer. It's just like this really aggressive, balding lawyer man who's obviously like super sketch. I don't know why. It happens. But anyways, yes, the Hammer and the Hellhound. Don't ask me to tell you which one's which. I don't remember. I just said their names and then a slash and then Hammer and Hellhound. So I'm gonna say Pollux is the hammer, and Baxian, Argos, is the hellhound. I'm gonna go with that. Then I also said in my notes that I love the multiple POVs. It is definitely a lot different. I understand that a lot more people have a lot more stakes in the story than just Bryce, like the first one. So I was just saying about how much I really love the POV. Especially Rune Dannon. Oof. Oh, that boy. You're gonna see my notes. I'm thirsting after him. Next thing I said is something's going on with Ethan and Amelie's younger sister, Perry Ravenscraft, question mark. She's the one who actually saved him and put him at the front door of Bryce because she knew that they were friends or something. So like it's very just like, what's going on? Is this a thing? Are we finding out a love triangle here? Not a love triangle. Of who? Definitely not Bryce. It's like a brother sister with Bryce and him, so probably not. Hunt gets into a bitch fight because he's a little bitch and he can't stop feeling feelings. So he got in a fight with the hammer, and the hellhound, and Bryce went and bailed him out and said, quit being a little bitch and just get along with them. Don't lose your job for this. Bryce also, I want to say Pollux or Baxian, I'm not really sure, said some like really just like things to Bryce, and Bryce was like, fuck you, come at me, see what happens. that little graph, the fuck around, see what happens thing, that was definitely Bryce in that scene, and I loved it. I loved it. I loved it so much. I love Bryce. I love her. I think so far of any Sarah J. Maas female character, Bryce is by far my favorite character. I think she's badass, but she's also realistic, and she's not too powerful. But of course, we'll see about that because she also is having like glowy issues that she can't control with her little star chest. Probably foreshadowing for bigger fights that are about to happen in this book. We'll see. Oh, and then also I said the messenger otters are still in this world. A healthy reminder, because that is probably the best thing about Sarah J. Maas world building that she's ever done, is that there's messenger otters and that they wear little coats, the little yellow little caution coats, and they just are everywhere sending messages. I love it. It's a healthy reminder for everyone out there. There are messenger otters in the Crescent City. That's all. Danica knew Sophie and looking for Sophie's brother, Emil. That's all I said about that. Obviously, I wasn't that interested in that chapter. So I said very little. Atherian thinks Danica might be a rebel, like the Sophie girl. Went to ask Bryce if she knew... God, my writing's terrible. Oh, she knew anything. Yeah. That happened. Bryce ended up finding out that pretty much everyone wants this little kid because he's a powerful little kid. And he's got, I think he's also a Thunderbolt as well. And I don't know if I said in the past clip, so I'm just going to repeat myself just in case. Therion went to go find Sophie's body, and then when he found the little concrete things that were supposed to hold her and sink her and drown her, were unlocked, and she was no longer there. So either someone found the body already, or she got out. They don't know. That's where I'm at with her. We don't know anything else. Everyone wants a little piece of this kid, and Bryce is like, well, if I give it to Therion, then that sucks because we don't know what the River Queen wants to do with him. And then the Orion, I think is what they're called, are agent rebels. And she's like, I don't know what you want with them. Obviously, he's this really powerful person, and you guys are going to use them for a weapon. And that's no bueno. This is a fucking kid. So I'm going to now put my little ballot in the box of find this kid before everyone else does, because that is just Bryce. Hunt found out Carmax. Hunt finding out that Carmax visited, I know his name is Cormac or whatever. I'm calling him Carmax because that's what he deserves. Found out that he went to go visit Bryce and pretty much did like a you were gonna like what you see, I guarantee it kind of situation. So of course Bryce is like, eye roll, get the fuck away from me. Can you not? Gross. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened then. Oh, and then he got jealous about it, and it's like, that's cute, you got jealous. You don't like it that he's coming for your girl. But I mean, I get it too. So finding out that Danica is a bloodhound, that was weird. I wanted to say this, I can't believe this, that Danica is such a MacGuffin of a character. Somehow, even in death, she's still important to the story. That is phenomenal. That is hard to do. To make a dead character still important. Good job, Sarah J. Good job. I wouldn't, as a writer myself, the ones that are dead, they're gone. I don't even want to see your face. I don't even want to talk about you. You 2000 late. But somehow Danica has become the MacGuffin, because then you find out that she is a bloodhound and she can smell bloodlines. And that's why she knew that she wanted to supposedly befriend Sophie, because she could smell, I guess, that she was a Thunderbolt, and that maybe also her brother was a Thunderbolt, and that they're possibly very powerful because of it. I don't know how, I don't know why. I'm probably telling you a lot of something that I read but isn't actually there. It is what it is. I'm not gonna get every single detail, even though I tried. I said my next line is future bromance with Baxian and Hunt, question mark. If Baxian can end up being like a good guy actually, and they could play video games together, or Hunt can teach him to play video games, and they can have just like this bromance, and we can like tell the Hammer to go like fuck himself, that'd be great. That'd be cute. I really want that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. So the next thing, I love this. Of all the things, if you are a demon prince, I think the best thing that you could possibly be is a cute little furry kitty cat. And I just want to say, like, I get Yasma from the Empire's New Groove kind of vibes, where like the little gif where she does the evil laugh in her little kitty voice, and she goes, "I win." That is Adis to a T. I just love that he is this cute little fuzzy kitty. That's what I picture it. I picture it being this cute little kitty that just like walks like this, but also has like this evil voice that comes out of it. I don't know. It makes me laugh. Every time he comes on the page, it's a great time. So, amazing entrance by Adis. I think he was like on Ethan's lap for a little while too. And he was just like petting him because he thought Bryce had a cat. He was just waiting for Bryce and Hunt to get home pretty much. Oh my god, I can imagine like Ethan like petting this cat thinking that belongs to Bryce, and and he's like, okay, I gotta fake this for a little while until all these people come in, so you know. I don't know, it gets me, I get all cracked up about it. You found out that Cormac is a Aphelion rebel, and that he is literally Silver, or Agent Silver whatever, But honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I didn't get that until way later in the chapter that he was that agent for Sophie. And then when it did like realization, it did become kind of like that clip from 22 Jump Street where he's like the little ding and all of a sudden he goes, "Oh shit." You know? I had that moment in this book, and I think it's really funny because it shows that sometimes you don't catch something the first time around, and that is okay. I also said, I also said in my notes that I was getting Star Wars. I was getting Marvel Infinity Wars vibes from like this little standoff everyone was having where no one wanted to sit down, no one wanted to, everyone was tense and everyone had kind of had their hand on the gun just in case kind of situation. I definitely got a, I definitely got a where is Gamora, who is Gamora, why is Gamora. So it just it kind of reminded me of that, and I like that a lot, that it was like it was tense but at the same time like it didn't feel like too tense where you weren't really like taking it too seriously. That's just me though. Maybe you were supposed to take it seriously, but I definitely was not. I was like laughing at the whole situation. I felt like Curb Your Enthusiasm could have been, the theme song could have been played as they turn around to see who Adis was talking about, and it would fit perfectly. Also, in the scene, I think it also didn't help that my favorite like line or my favorite part of the whole like standoff scene was how Cormac was like, "I can smell you." He's like, "Oh, you're myrrh." He's like, and Therion's like, "How do you know I'm a myrrh?" And he's like, "'Cause I can smell you. You smell like fish." And poor Therion, he had to do a smell check. He had to do a kind of check because he was afraid he actually smelled like fish. I don't know, there's something really funny, the idea that he got like almost a little bit like paranoid that maybe he had too much sea smell on him. They decided, well, they didn't really decide to team up with Cormac. But they realized that maybe Cormac isn't such a bad guy like they thought before. You end up finding out that really he doesn't want to marry Bryce. It was all a ploy to get close to them so he could actually talk to them. And he just really wants the help of Bryce and Rune because he knows that Fae have these powers that he could use to find Sophie, supposedly. So that's what I got from that. I finally realized that I need to start labeling chapters or I'm going to go crazy and be like, I don't know where I'm at right anymore. So, chapter 17. A lot of worrying and wondering why they can't be normal. And then that Hollywood makeout sesh with Bryce and Hunt. Heart, heart, heart. Yeah. Bryce finally decided to be like, you know what? If we're about to go into something really crazy and we're not normal, we don't have normal lives, we're about to be part of a whole rebellion. So no, I don't want to wait for the winter solstice to like be intimate with you. We don't know how this is going to end, so let's just enjoy each other while we can. So they had a nice little makeout sesh. Realized they shouldn't be doing that in the alleyway because if someone were to take a picture of Bryce, who is supposed to still be betrothed to Cormac, it would be bad. So they decided to stop. They did decide that night they were going to, when they were alone in their apartment, they were going to get a freaky deaky. But then Bryce had to remind him, we're not going to be alone. Ethan's living with us right now. And that means a very funny scene later. Therian telling Ethan that so end up finding out like Ethan and Therian decided to just like chill for a while, and then I don't know how it's honestly I don't know how it started, but they were like, oh, by the way, Bryce killed Micah, Micah killed Danica, and that is what happened. And Ethan didn't know any of this. He was completely in the dark this whole time, the whole time. And this poor little boy, and he had to learn all this at once. And he also found out that he had to know that Sabine knew as well that Micah killed Danica. and that she has done nothing with it. Danica is supposed to be Sabine's daughter, and she's done nothing with the information, and that kind of breaks Ethan's heart too, because he was like, I thought we were close, I thought this all, it was really intense. So, and that's where, I think that's where that ends, which is kind of a bad way to end that scene. More multi-POVs. As Ethan is reminiscing about all of this and deciding this is a lot to handle, this is a lot to take care of, so he finds Danica's sword, and he plays with it, and he plays little warrior, and he jumps up on the table, and just as he jumps up on the table and he's pretending to like fight people, Bryce comes in and says that she forgot her key card. and the complete embarrassment of Ethan at this moment in time, only for it to be even more embarrassing when the table just collapses underneath him and he falls and he breaks this table. But because of that, Ethan and Bryce were able to find that there was actually a secret compartment that Danica had in this coffee table. So, and then you find out like either some code names or something like that. I forgot. I think I put the code name in. Dusk Truth document. And I think there was another one too. But I got the Dusk Truth. It seemed like that one was the most important one. So they will go and try to figure that out as well. Next notes are me just thirsting. So excuse me for a minute. I said Rune and Cormac bromance, and Rune is hella sexy with a pool cue. I get bad vibes from the daughter of the River Queen, which by the way, I think as of right now is not even named. I don't think she even has a name. So I would love to know if we ever do find out her name in this book. Because right now she's just daughter of River Queen. And she is obviously like super jelly and super insecure. She was asking Varian where he was and who he was hanging out with. Like, and when she was like, oh, you want to go do something? It seemed like Varian was like, no. The whole reason I'm doing this whole investigation is because of you and because you went to go tell on your mommy about me. So, nah, I'm good. I would rather fix a machine than go fuck you. I don't know if that is the wrong vibe or not, but it's kind of what I got. And so I get a bad feeling with her, like that if she doesn't get her way, she will overreact, and that could cause problems for them. I feel like that's just my hint. That's my idea of what's gonna happen. I don't know. The next part is about the steamy scene. There is no like full penetration in this episode. There's no full penetration in this scene and this chapter. It was her just helping him out, we'll just say that way. And I'm not gonna say this correctly, the Chimmery, the pet dog creature that she has, realized that they were kind of getting frisky with each other, and he literally jumps off the bed and temper tantrums into the bathroom and slams the door with his foot. I think that's hilarious. That like literally he's like, I'm not even fucking dealing with this. I'm gonna leave. You guys go do your thing. I'm gonna go sleep in the bathroom just for a little while, and you come get me when you're done with all this craziness. I love that he had a little temper tantrum. Oh, and then the next funny part is kind of a little bit after everything happened. Poor Ethan and his super hearing. The quote is, the quote that I wrote down is Hunt saying, I'm gonna fuck you senseless. And then Ethan screaming out, that sounds medically dangerous. There's also a little part before that where he's like, oh no, please have louder there's sex for me. I love it. So I definitely can hear Ethan saying it in that way. He goes full like Louise Belcher with his sarcasm. And then of course the scene where after everything is said and done, Cormac has decided that Rune is able to help him, and he's convinced him. He gives him a crystal and says, here, this is how you can get in contact with another agent. And of course, he goes home to his little frat pad with Ethan and Deck and does it in front of them while they drink beers and eat pizza. Because that's what frat boys do. And he does actually work, and he gets in contact with Daybright, Agent Daybright. And he has a real big struggle on trying to figure out his little code name he was going to make for himself. But it's okay, because Daybright does it for him and calls him Agent Knight. So it's Agent Knight Rune Dannon now. And yeah, that's all I had for that chapter. Fuck Paulin. He pretty much almost SA a woman, and Baxian stopped him from stopped him from doing it. And then I put hashtag Team Baxian. He got in trouble with Celestia, or they both got in trouble with Celestia. But then Celestia, because she's trying really hard to like not be the center of attention and not to cause trouble and all that stuff, she's like, I'll give you guys a second chance. And because I want this to kind of go away, and because I don't want this to be the star thing in the news, I am going to have a meeting ceremony with, what's his name? I did not write his name. But she's like, I'm going to have a meeting ceremony with this guy, so then it's more of the attention will take off from the bad attention that you guys started. And it's called like Death Day, which I don't think anything good is coming out of Death Day. With a name like that, it's not looking good. Also, this is when I kind of realized that as of right now, I'm getting good vibes from Celestia. Now, is that going to stay? I'm not sure. We'll see. Hi, wet hair. I decided to take out my little towel thingy. So now you're just gonna have to see my wet hair that looks incredibly brown, and I'm not gonna talk about it because it just makes me sad. So, where was I? Oh, so after everything happened, she had a conversation with Hunt one-on-one, and she said, hey, by the way, I was actually trying to buy you the whole time, because you end up finding out that Celestia is really good friends with, I forgot what her name, but it's a twin sister, and Sandar, I think is what her name, I don't know. But Sahar? Maybe it's Sahar. I don't know. Anyways, it's that person. She was really good friends with her. She knows that her and Hunt were really close. She tried really hard to buy Hunt, and she always failed, and she didn't want to make it too obvious, so eventually she had to stop. But she said that she always felt bad about what he had to go through, pretty much. And then I feel like Hunt is kind of getting a vibe that he might be able to actually trust Celestia, because she was like, if there's anything I can do, please do not hesitate to ask. And he said, if there's anything I can do, don't hesitate to ask. So there's like this mutual understanding now, and it's really nice. And then before he leaves, Hunt, he says, quote, I have it in here, and I'm also gonna like paraphrase a little. I said, you don't need to feel guilty. If I had gone to Nenya, which is the name of where Celestia was from, I never came here. I never would have met Bryce. Oh. My first thing is, Rune has mommy issues. Somehow makes him hotter. Yeah. He has mommy issues. He has mommy and daddy issues, and I'm just kind of over here just going, perfect. Beautiful. And then I said foreshadowing by Rune and Bryce talking about the Starborn sword. This is the third or fourth time that they have brought up the star sword that Rune has, and I just it feels like it's foreshadowing because they keep talking about how like Rune would probably give this sword up for the rightful owner of it, but she doesn't want to because she's like, you found it, you deserve it. Just because I might be worthy of it does not mean that I actually deserve it. So I feel like there's foreshadowing that eventually Bryce will be wielding the Star Sword eventually, maybe in a cool battle. The little thing I have is Reapers kidnap Rune just to pass a message that their Prince of the Pit wants to fisticuffs with Bryce. What? Yeah. And that is the correct question. What? But anyways, that is the first part of House of Sky and Breath, and I will be back when I either am done with the second part or I'm actually finally at the 50% mark. So I will see you when I see you, whatever that is. Bye. Hello. I come in bad lighting, so just like bring light. I wonder if it's okay if I put this here. It's got that flickering look, so maybe not. Also, it's popping because it's got a bunch of like burnt stuff on top, so maybe not, just in case. Okay, I am sorry that this is terrible lighting. I come to you on a day that I just got off of work really late, and just got done with a bunch of family in town, and all just like here in my house, and just in every orifice of this house. They've been there, they bleed in here, they coughed in here. I did not feel like doing an update while they were here, because then I would have to explain why I was talking to myself to my phone. So, but I come to you finally at the halfway point of House of Sky and Breath. Finally. Finally. Let me move this. Finally, that's the halfway. Well, it's kind of a little bit off the halfway point, but we're going to still count it because I feel like I said before in past clips, getting to the halfway point and these books is an achievement all of its own. So, where we left off, where did we leave off? In my handy dandy still book of Adam Driver. Oh, the Reapers kidnap Rune just to say that the pitmaster or whatever his name is wants to beef with Bryce. And Bryce was like, no, that's stupid. Get over yourself. Long story short, she grabbed the Star Sword, which again, I said was foreshadowing, and I was correct. She did grab it. She grabbed it a whole lot sooner than I thought she was going to grab it. And for a lot less of a fight, if we're being honest with each other, which I thought it was going to be a little bit more epic, but it's okay. Cormac can teleport, and Bryce wants in on that action. That sentence said everything. Cormac is a little teleporter, and he said that he could teach Bryce, and Bryce was like, hell fucking yeah, you teach me that. If that's part of like the whole like fae thing, teach me. I gotta get a little bit more entangled with my fae instead of my human. Let's do this. And then Hun, of course, is like, Cormac, I could teach you to teleport, but I don't know how to, but I could learn. I love how jealous Hunt gets. It's adorable. They made the excuse that they were gonna go work out to get out of Bryce's apartment that had just a bunch of people. I think Therion, Ethan, and Rune were all still there. And so Bryce was like, you know what? I'm gonna go work out. And then he didn't go work out, and they actually went to the Viper Queen's turf, but then they actually went to go work out, which I'm really surprised that they actually went to go work out. Oh, they worked out. They worked out real good. Like, Hey Alexa, Play Physical by Olivia Newton-John kind of workout. Oh, yeah. And this too. This is very important. Saying Bet Hunt is an eating champion. Wink. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But I'm pretty sure with the information you had before I said that, you get the picture. Unless you don't get the picture and you're too naive, and then what are you doing in here? This ain't for you. You gotta get out. This is not for you. You shouldn't even be reading these books. You're probably reading these books anyway, but you shouldn't. Then I said, yep, he is good because he made her accidentally say, I love you. Yes, so they said, I love you, or she said, I love you. She got embarrassed because she thought that that's not what he wanted, until he pretty much said, yeah, I love you too. He said it probably more in a sweeter way than I just said it. I just can't relate. Sadness. Single. I also put down this quote because I thought this quote was really good. And it was, are you asking if I mean it, or are you thinking that you're that good with your mouth that I went out of my mind? In her mind, she said, they're both true. And then I said, I knew it. Pussy champ Hunt. You got like the spicy, but then you got like aftercare fluff, pretty much. Of all things, Hunt has been called, being called Bryce's mate is the best. Oh yeah, so they decided what do they want to call each other, and they decided to call each other mate. The fluff continues. Let that sit in for a minute. Okay, I'm done. Rune runs into Daybright again, but without the crystal. And they have a little cute little conversation. I was getting weird vibes from Daybright about if she's just like so serious on her job, or is she not who she says she is. But that kind of gets taken away in later chapters. So I think that's like null and void. The fact that Cormac can smell Bryce and Hunt, and that they have been up to naughty things. That's great. I love Cormac and his really just heightened sense of smell. He made Therion really self-conscious about him smelling like fish earlier. Now he's really making sure he lets Bryce and Hunt know that he knows they've been up to no good. You know, keep it up, Cormac. Keep up with that. Just putting people in their place by going, I can smell you. Okay. I'm back with ice cream. Just gonna grab me a little bit. Onwards. So obviously everything goes bad in the bone grave. Therion saves them, but at the same time, Bryce is already kind of hesitant because she still doesn't know what the River Queen wants with Emil, which I think is still not good. So there's that. That's where I was. So Sabine attacked Bryce. It was in the middle of Hunt having to be there for Celestia for her mating ceremony, and Celestia not being very happy when he pretty much chose Bryce over her, even though he said to Celestia he was going to stay around. He was going to make sure she was feeling okay and that she was, you know, feeling comfortable, and if there was anything that she needed, that he would be right there. That was wrong. Baxian also followed Hunt. They stopped Sabine from, like, strangling Bryce. I don't think anyone likes Sabine. If you like Sabine, comment down below. I would love to know if you like Sabine. And also, why? Why do you like Sabine? And Amelie. Because if you like Sabine, then you must like Amelie. Let's talk about that. Ethan is official member of the Bro House. When Rune offered the Bro House to Ethan, Ethan finally agreed that he would actually be in the Bro House. So Ethan is officially one of the bros with Rune, Ethan, and Deck. And I think that's all the people who live in that house, I think. But yes, I love it that it's just the frat house has gotten even frattier. Also, Rune is now flirting with Day, it feels like. So there's that. Every time Bryce sees a fire sprite, she reminds of Leba. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but that makes me really sad because I miss her too. She was this really cool character. She grew to be a cool character. She didn't start as a good character. She was an annoying character, but I liked her still regardless. But a very important matter that also you find out in chapter 36. Oh, by the way, we're in chapter 36. The otters have names, the delivery otters, because you find out the one that they see the little name tag. The otters have name tags, and his name is Fitzroy. Yep. I feel like that is a very important information, that the otters all have names, and I want Sarah J to just give me all the otter names, just all of them, just the whole company of otter names, because I need it. And then I said, ooh, what are the mystics? I live to regret that question, but we'll get there. We're at chapter 37 at this point. It starts with Bryce kind of, after all the stress and all that stuff, she goes dancing. She doesn't like how the director treats Juniper, so she's about to go full on Karen and be like, you should keep Juniper, or you would be missing on a really opportunity of like the best dancer of all the studio or whatever they're called, the company. That also said poor Celestina for having to fuck a prick and his cronies having to hear on. I think that is when you find out the Harpy went to go get Hunt so Celestina could talk to Hunt, which was not good. She literally told him, because you went away and you obviously are a distracted little boy and you need to remind yourself on where your first priority should stand, we're going to make you stay here for 2 weeks in the barracks with Baxian and Pollen and the Hind. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy about that either, especially since everything is going on and he's now getting sex from Bryce. Feeling those major blue balls right now. After everything was done, Hunt gets the Harpy's gone, but the Hind's there, unfortunately. And the feeling of Hind feeling like she needs to just put her business all up in his business. And he's like, I really don't care. And then we get to chapter 38, where it's Therion, Ethan, and Bryce. They all go to the Mystics. This is where you find out what the Mystics are. I wish I never knew what the Mystics are. It's 3 different species of like people you can find in Crescent City who have a psychic kind of power, like a really heavy psychic power. And so this guy pretty much buys them because they're so usually in poor status. The family, when they find out that their kid has like this great psychic powers, they immediately sell their children pretty much to this awful man who puts them in like this tank and doesn't, and from I guess what I'm getting descriptions of, like they don't get fed and he doesn't care if they go too far. He's just kind of like they're expendable. He'll just get another one kind of situation, which is awful. He also has imprisoned fire sprites, and that also makes Bryce really sad too, because again, it reminds her of Lababa or Labai or whatever her name is, and she does not like that. Then you find out a little bit more about this astronomer guy who just scum of the earth, absolute scum of the earth. But he's like, okay, I'm gonna con you, give me all this money to do what I need to do for you. Oh, you want us to go that deep? That's gonna be an extra bunch of gold. You know, he's like that kind of guy. And so Therian, not being a very cool guy right now, in my opinion, he gives him the cash, he gives him the money. Ethan gives him money because his first question is immediately, where is my brother? Is my brother in hell, pretty much? Or is he in this untouchable part of their idea of purgatory, I guess, in a way? The mystics go to hell. They find okay, also I have to mention the mystics are a male, a female, and one that is neither female or male. We also find out about blood salt, which is gross because it is from the to go to hell he had to put blood salt in, and it's from the blood of a laboring woman, gross, and then the throat of a dying man, gross. And then they're combined together, so it's like the blood of life and the blood of death combined together and put in these salts, and supposedly it helps a lot more to like mystics to find hell, I don't know, or to find where they have to go, which is a little bit in a deeper, darker subsection of the psyche, I guess. So the male mystic goes to hell. He goes deep, deep into hell. Like, it's dark. Like, no one can see anything. It's dark. But they hear a voice. And he says his name is Thantos. And he is the prince of the ravine. His brother is Adis. So they're all like princes of hell. They all know each other. They all like small world. It's a small world after all, in hell, I guess. He pretty much says to Connor that he has never seen any wolf roam this realm of hell in a really, really long time. And so that kind of gives that gives Ethan relief. But at the same time, then the prince goes on and says, what are you? Someone who's like really, really powerful, and it's almost like delicious. You know, he's doing that kind of stuff. And then the mystic's like, well, you can't see him, blah, 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 and they can't see you. And then he goes, well, let them see me. And then the mystic's eyes open up in the fucking tank, and all of a sudden they can see him, and he can see them, and he is really interested in Bryce. But of course, Bryce, being the baller that she is, she not phased. She's like, he's saying stuff about how like he'll see her in war, and she goes, it's a date, pretty much, because like a honey badger, Bryce don't give a fuck. Also, the way they describe Thantos, and I would like no judgment when I say this, but it sounds kind of like Thantos is hot. Like, he's got like these belted boots, and he's got like curly black hair and stuff like that, and I don't know, I'm just like going, I would love to see some fan art, if I'm correct about this, about if Thantos is a hot piece of A, because it sounds like it. So after everything's said and done, he pretty much threatens Bryce a little bit and says, hey, you know, you're weak, and I'll kill you and things like that, and I'll eat you. And she's like, okay, cool, can you shut up now? And then he goes, yeah, actually I will shut up because I'm now going to eat this mystic. Or he does something to the mystic that makes the mystic in those tank like start to like convulse. And they freak out and they try to save him. And they do. And I want to say Ethan jumps in the tank, unmask them, take them out of the tank, or at least like put them like over the edge of the tank for them to breathe. This is where it gets like super freaking sad. They're like, put me back, put me back, put me back. And it just, because that's all they ever known is this life. It's like Stockholm syndrome pretty much. And then of course the astronomer's like, okay, well, you've made a mess. I think it's time for you three to leave. But not before Bryce and Ethan are looking back and going, how much do we want to go through this? And especially Bryce, because she goes, I want to free every sprite in here, at least. But she knows that immediately the police will be called. And then she knows Hunt will help her, but then she also knows she doesn't need to have that attention on her too. So hesitantly and unfortunately, she has to leave the fire sprites and she has to leave the mystics. That is about it. That is my update, my more recent update of my halfway of HoSaB Sky and Breath. I don't know when I'll give you another update, to be honest. I find myself not really in the mood lately for reading sprints, and that is where I get the most of my reading done, is during reading sprints. We'll see. I feel like I only have a little bit left of part 2. Let me see. I got about that much left, that little part right there in the middle of part 2. And then all the rest of that is part 3. I might update you after I get to part 3 and I finish part 2. I think that's my next update. I'm hoping I can get this done before my birthday, which is the 23rd. Today is the 17th or something. But yeah, let's hope that we can get this done and taken care of, and wish me luck. And I will see you in the next clip, because it will just happen right now. Hello, new update. Still working on this. So I am 64% into Sky and Breath, which still sounds like Zelda to me. So it always feels weird. I always have to check it and be like, am I getting my fandoms wrong? Sorry for this angle. I don't know what else to do, and honestly, I'm feeling super lazy. So this is the angle you're getting. There we go. Perfect. Today is January 23rd, which does mean I have failed my main goal of finishing this book before my birthday. Today's my birthday. Yay. I am on the last, what is it called? The last part, called The Pit. So released on the third and final part of the book. That's always exciting. We're getting there. I'm hoping I can get this done before January, because then what was the point? So I went ahead, and because I finished the second part of the second part, wow, me real thinking ahead in those words that I have. I went ahead and just kind of gonna give you my, what's that? Oh, a pen. I'm going to go ahead and give you my notes and things like that from my handy dandy Adam Driver notebook. I'm gonna say, like, I have 2.5 pages of notes, which is not bad from the like 4 and the like quarter pages I had last time. So it's good. It's something. Also, I'm really getting nervous because I just lost a lot of footage recently, so I am panicking and noticing that I just have way too many videos of this, and it makes me panic because I'm always afraid I'm going to lose a part in this, and it's going to be for null and void of me doing this. So, if there's something that feels like it's missing, you know why. It's probably because I accidentally erased it and I couldn't use it for iMovie anymore, and that's just what's been happening lately. And yeah, hope that everything all makes sense in this video. Woohoo! Let's get on to the notes. This starts in the middle of chapter 40. I was right in the middle of it, which now that I think of is really stupid of me. I should have finished the chapter before I stopped for that day, or before I started filming for the update, because now it just makes no sense. You had a part of 40, the last clip, now you're getting the next part of 40. Back to notes. So I said, Baxian wants to fit in, and that Ethan was trying to bond with Baxian. Honestly, I don't remember what happened. My brain is pea brain, and that's why I felt like I had to write almost everything down, because my memory's not great. Obviously, after Therian and Bryce had a fight because of the whole mystics thing, they were sending messages to each other via otters, and the otters were just sending they're all little filthy languages, little filthy messages that they were sending to each other. And I said, how dare they send their filthy messages to sweet little otters. Still stand the otters over anyone else. The otter arc that I'm getting from the second one over the first one only was like mentioned once, I think, in the first Crescent City, versus them being mentioned several times, of like the story arc of the otters, the messenger otters, one being named Fitzgerald, and they wear a cute little vest, and I just love the otters. The story arc that no one asked for, and I am here for it. So you get the story arc of the otters from me, because I will literally write down everything about the messenger otters. Oh, Bryce and Hunt won't let a punishment stop them from being frisky with each other. I said phone sex. This is another, I don't want to say spicy scene, but it was like a very like steamy scene. So far we have 3. Don't ask where the chapters are, other than this one. It was in chapter 40. Unless we're talking about the Rundanen chapter 3 thing, then it's 4 scenes. But if we're just talking about Hunt and Bryce, 3, as of right now. Then we get a little bit of Bryce teleporting, or trying to teleport practice. It's not going well. Ethan in the frat house. Declan coming through in the hacking feed. Danica looking into wolf genealogy, and Bryce went away, and then all of a sudden Danica immediately went to a book. She looked into it, she took a couple pictures, and then she put it away, and then went back and sat in the seat before Bryce and Lababa could come back. And they're like, well, what was that book? Wolf genealogy. Am I saying that word right? It's one of those days I don't give a fuck if I am or not. So yeah, and they find out what she was looking at, and they want to know why she was looking at it. Did they find out? Oh, Bryce says that the only way that they can find out is if Bryce talks about to the patriarch of the wolf pack, which is like Danica's grandpa, I think, because it's Sabine's father. Yeah. Who also doesn't feel the same way as everyone else feels about Bryce. He actually called Bryce a wolf himself, because she has the mentality of a wolf and a loyalty of a wolf, and something that Sabine and Amelie obviously lack. It doesn't go well. she got a little bit of information out of him, but because he's old and he can't really tell too much, other than there's like this family who has gone missing and it hasn't been talked about, and they just don't ever talk about. But he literally said that whenever he saw Danica, he saw that old mentality of what this old family pack was like, which was about doing good and leading rebellions and all this stuff. And he saw that in Danica. So, and that's all I think she really got from him until another pack member came over and growled at her. So the next thing is they find out where the mech suits that Cormac has talked about several times, found out that they're actually being shipped to an island that's real nearby Crescent City. Probably going to be a really big deal. Ends up not being that big of a deal. They get there, they get caught, they realize how evil Pippa is, and yeah, that's pretty much all that happened. You also find that Juniper gets, remember when I was telling you about how Bryce went all like Karen on the director because he didn't understand why he was not making Juniper principal, I think is what it's called. Like, probably like a belladonna, pretty much, as what I'm thinking that it's most likely what it's considered. That she complained to the director that, like, you need to make Juniper the principal. Juniper calls, says to Bryce, how dare you? And literally has a good reason to be angry at Bryce. What I think is a good reason to be angry at Bryce. Because she said, it's logical. Now no one's going to take her seriously. Now people are going to think of all the hard work that she did, and now has come down to the fact that now only people are going to think is the reason she got this part or this place is because she's friends with a princess, and the princess says goes, and that's the only reason why Juniper has the job. First time, I do agree Bryce was definitely in the wrong, and Juniper is absolutely 100% like in the right. Fairy says the same thing. She goes, hey, can you just apologize to Juniper for me? And Fairy goes, no. I'm not getting in between this. This is not my doing. You just need to let her cool off, and then later you need to again try to apologize. And that's all you can do. I'm not going to get in the middle because that is my girlfriend and you are one of my friends. That is not my place. Can we just talk about the healthy relationship that is Fairy and Juniper's relationship? Because, ugh. And so she's gonna let Juniper simmer down and hopefully be able to apologize and maybe fix it. I don't know. But yeah, Juniper has a right to be pissed at Bryce right now. Bryce also, before they go to the island, because of Bryce's, or not because of Bryce, because of Hunt's punishment right now where he had to stay in the barracks, Bryce had to pretty much go to Celestina and go, hey, can I have him for just like a night maybe? And made a lie though by saying, because she doesn't want Celestia to know that this is what's happening, so she goes, oh, he's meeting my parents, and if he doesn't come, it's gonna look weird. And she goes, you know what, you get the night, but also just tell him that he's good. He doesn't have to do the punishment anymore. And Bryce, of course, says, thank you. Celestina is now and forever still on my good side. I don't know if that's going to change, but so far, Celestina seems like she's actually a legit nice person, which is really nice. Bryce and Hunt can't keep their hands off each other, and Pollen has to ruin the moment. So Bryce went to go tell Hunt that he's pretty much done. He's good. She talked to Christina or Celestina. Oh, blah blah blah. So as Bryce is talking to the patriarchy, yeah, the patriarch of the Wolf Pack, she also mentioned, hey, Also want to let you know your sister, or not your sister, but your daughter is a little bit of a see you next Tuesday because she beat the shit out of Ethan and then told him he can't be part of the wolf pack anymore. And then the patriarch guy's like, huh, I didn't know this. That's good information to know. Thank you, Bryce. You are still a wolf. He didn't say that, but like, I'm paraphrasing. Ethan gets a call from the patriarch wolf guy, and says, hey, listen, if you want to come back, you can come back, and I'll even make you an alpha of your own pack. And he goes, okay, cool, but what about your I keep wanting to call her sister, but what about your daughter? And he goes, I will handle her. And so he goes, okay, cool, but can I think about it? And he goes, yeah, sure, bro. I mean, he didn't say that, again, paraphrasing, but pretty much it was, sure, but don't take too long. So might have an opportunity to become back in the pack, and he might be able to become an alpha too, which is really cool. So Therion, as this is all before they go to the island, by the way, I went way ahead. Before they go to the island, Therion also asks the River Queen if she can give him extra backup before they go to this island. The River Queen, being the River Queen, said, hell nah, you can do it. I believe in you. You got this, Therion. And then Therion go, okay, fuck you. He didn't say that, but yeah, you definitely, I know he thought that because right now he's got some ill feelings between the River Queen right now. I don't know what this even means. I said Rune is a considerate lover confirmed. And getting unlimited sex from someone. I don't even know what I was saying. I don't even know where that came from. I guess it's because, like, Rune has always been very flirty and very, like, good at talking to people. I don't think I've ever seen Rune not talk to a woman and it not almost be in a flirty tone, or at least I read it in a flirty tone. But that also just might be me just being biased that I love Rune Denon. But it does seem like it's getting real flirty with him and this Daybreak, Agent Daybreak girl. Um, and oh, I think I know what this is. I just realized. I think it's because for a minute as they were talking, and then all of a sudden she had to go, and then he could sense that like someone was being violent with her or something like that. And you find out like she's either having like rough sex or having non-consensual sex. I don't know how else to say that. She comes back and she's like, yeah, I'm fine. Have you had sex before? And he's like, yeah, but not like that. Which maybe is why I read he's a considerate lover, confirmed, because he would never hurt a woman during the do. So that's probably why I'm getting that. Yeah, so they flirt and it's really cute and it seems like they're getting to know each other a little bit more. I was trying to think of people who it could be who are having either a non-consensual relationship where they feel like they have to defend them, but at the same time they obviously are not having fun because Rune can sense they weren't having fun. And I thought maybe it's Celestina because she's got that whole mating thing with that weird guy who's got the hind and the hound and the hammer, and maybe I forgot what his name is. I don't give a shit about his name, to be honest. Don't care. So I'm thinking maybe it's Celestina, or maybe this is how we find out the hind is actually a really nice person and she has awful relations with Pollux, but she's actually trying to pretend to be this bad guy, but she's actually not. And maybe that's also why she was questioning Rune and Ethan at that bar that one time. And she also questioned Hunt as well. That's just that's probably not it. I bet Hind is like straight up just a baddie. So, but there's just little thoughts in my mind that go back and forth. So you find out that Hunt and Bryce are actually like mates, because the way Hunt reacts to the idea of Bryce being in danger was almost a like becomes a little like Pikachu, like lightning bulb, like little sparks of lightning all over him and thunder and things like that, and he becomes like a little Pikachu. That's all I can sense is like him just like sparking up, and how they describe it, it's like little sparks of electricity. No one can really calm him down. They think they're in danger, but then they end up finding out that they get saved by another court of mer people, who actually live, I think they live on this ship, and it's like a really nice ship where it's big, it's like submarine, it seems like, but also it's like a underwater living facility, and it can go camouflage, and it can deflect people, and it's just like really top notch. And that is called, their ship is called the Depth Charger, one of 6 ships of Ocean Queen Court of the Beneath. That is what they're called, is Beneath. Also, I didn't put this in here, but Ethan ends up going back to the Mystics for some reason, and the astronomer's not there anymore, and he sees that there's a girl there who is actually a wolf, and she's out of it, and I think like the astronomer is like getting parts or something, and she pretty much is sassy with him and saying, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you will ever be able to do. I am in this for life. And then he goes, well, that's really funny, because if my pack knew what was going on and that one of their own was here, we wouldn't take that. And so she's like, well, that's how the cookie crumbles. I'm sorry to like inform you about this. But anyways, he, out of anger, Ethan goes, well, if I can't take you, I'm going to take these fire sprites, and they're mine now. And so she goes, okay, bye. So they're at the frat house, and he mentions to them, he's like, hey, I have these things, and technically, but technically, I may have stole them. And so everyone's like, oh, cool, great, thanks for coming back here and storing the evidence here. That's awesome. Thanks, Ethan. So glad you're here in our house. And they say, and they free the fire sprites in the house. And they go, okay, cool. And they just grab a fire extinguisher, and they go, okay, let's free these sprites, because they're here, they're now, and we're not going to do anything about it, and we're definitely not taking them back, so let's go. And then they let them out, and one of them says, you're going to die because of this. And that was how that ended. Oh, we're back in the submarine. They're really happy. Cormac is still shot with the Gorsarian bullet, and so little mech witches are looking at him right now, and Bryce can't seem to still control Hunt. He's still Pikachuing, and so they go, okay, well, can we go somewhere private, and maybe I can take care of this? And of course, the captain being the captain going, yeah, you go do that. You go take care of it. Wink. She actually like shuts down a whole subsection of the ship for them. It's like a little garden area. The only way Bryce can think of controlling him and him stop Pikachuing is she just takes off her clothes, and she goes, we should do it. And Hunt goes, yes. They end up having a very steamy scene where they finally do. Everything else from here was just kind of like, you know, he helped her and she helped him, and then they helped each other. But now it's actually like the actual act. Good for them, but not good for them, because it's so good that Bryce teleports herself to this chapter that Hunt and Bryce, because they are actual mates with each other, that their powers together combined are a lot more stronger. And Bryce is going, I don't know if that's because of just you and me, or if that's just anyone with another power I'm stronger with. But I think it is Hunt. I think because Hunt had that dream where that person came into his dream and was like, yo, you don't understand. You and that girl are like really strong with each other as long as you stay together. And when you guys combined, that becomes the ultimate, most powerful weapon you could possibly use. And then the last thing is we find out that there are actually triplet fire sprites named Rithi, Milana, and Soza. And then the other one is actually a dragon. It's like a dragon shifter, which is really cool. Oh, and by the way, the you find out also that the triplets are descendants of Priscina Falith, Lady of Cinders. Back to the dragon shifter, her name is, I'm going to say it wrong, it's Arienda. And of course, Flynn being Flynn, he has to flirt with the dragon. And she doesn't seem to mind being flirted with Flynn. She probably likes what she sees with Flynn. I don't blame her. She belongs to the House of Flame, the Flamed Shadow, I think. Can't read my own damn writing. And then the last little bit that we end up finding out, which is a little sad for Cormac, is that these people on the ship also found another person, another SOS signal to go save someone. That was Sophie. But by the time that they got there, Sophie was no longer savable. And so they had her body, and Cormac ends up finding out that the lady that he loved did pass away. So, but hopefully that puts like a fire in everyone, that now that they found out Sophie is gone, just even more to like find Emil. That is where I'm at right now. Again, I am at 64%. I am hoping that I have all my footage, because honestly, this would suck if I lost all of this stuff. Again, today's my birthday, so I probably won't be doing too much reading, but you don't have to wait. I'm about to give you the next update here in 3, 2, 1. Hello. It is the next day, the day after my birthday. I just ate I didn't just eat, but last night I ate a big, delicious cheat meal, and I realized I am very crooked. I read a little bit more, and I feel like I'm getting so close, you guys. Like, look at that. Look how almost close the bookmarks are touching. Now, geez. I think I am now getting to a point where I am probably not going to be able to rely on my notes as much, because I'm going to want to film real life experiences and real life emotions that are happening in real time. So because of that, what I read like all of yesterday pretty much, and just yesterday, but it's enough to be like 2 pages long, I want to say. So that's something. Okay, so I am on I'm on chapter 40, I want to say 49. The first part is while I was reading this, I was also getting ready for my nice birthday dinner. So because of that, I wasn't really paying attention to the first half. So if there's stuff in here that they already talked about and I just was like, oh my god, realization, then you know why now. I was trying to get ready and I can't multitask for shit. So there's that little disclaimer. We find out that Emil has been with the Viper Queen all along, and that Bryce owes Viper Queen a favor for keeping him. But also there was like talks about how the Viper Queen of course wanted to keep him because she at this time thought he was powerful, which is another thing Bryce found out somehow. It's weird. She was like, oh, it was just a hunch, you know, things like these little tiny little things. Like, Emil is actually not powerful. Sophie just wanted to make it look like Emil was powerful. And that was about it. And so there's nothing else to Emil. Emil has become a MacGuffin. We've been following this storyline for so long. And we end up finding out that there's really nothing to Emil and that Sophie is dead. What was cute. Oh, and yeah, and there was something about how, like, I'm sorry, I'm reading my handy dandy Adam Driver notes. Well, handy dandy Adam Driver notebook with House of Sky and Breath notes. These are not notes about Adam Driver. Adam Driver is not a fae. But, anyways. They say that now she got Fury involved, which I thought she said she didn't want to get involved. And she knew why she didn't want to get involved. So why'd she say that to Bryce on the phone? I feel like that's a plot hole. Just saying. But it's fine. You find out that she is actually going to take, or Fury is going to take Emil to Randall and Ember's house. And he's going to be their son, pretty much. Or he's going to pretend like he's their son. Which is the first time that I got teary-eyed because I thought that was really, really sweet. That of all the shit that's happened and the fact that his sister is dead and everyone he's ever known has been dead, he gets a little bit of normalcy because he's still like a young kid. Hunt's a little angry. Bryce is a little angry. They move on. They go their separate ways. He flies away. She's got to go to work. But while she's going to work, Rune Dannon goes, hey, sissy, can you come over real quick? It's kind of an emergency. So she gets there, and she sees the three sprites, who, this is the next reason why I got teary-eyed, who reminded her of Lababa. But the one she really looks at and goes, well, holy shit. One, that's a dragon shifter. And two, why isn't she wearing any clothes? And they're all like, well, we tried. She didn't want to wear clothes. And I'm yeah, okay, frat boys, you really tried hard. I'm sure you did. Whatever. Flynn's just been hitting on her the whole time. But okay. She asks the three sprites who, if they knew her, they say no. But they say that all sprites are just important beings and all that stuff, and that if it's important to her and all that stuff, then it must be meaningful. Bryce says about how she freed her and how the last moments of her freedom, I'm gonna try to be calm about this part because it still gets to me. It still chokes me up. The last thing that she did in her freedom is save Bryce. I don't even want to talk about it. Like, it still gets me. It still fucking gets me. And that because of her bravery and because Bryce did something as freeing one of their people, that she is considered a ally. That's the word I'm looking for. An ally to the fire sprites. Jessica leaves her a note that says pretty much, hey, just so you know how important dragons are. They say that the dragons are very important because they're the only ones who can bring harm to princes of hell. Chapter 51. We are so far, but yet so close. I put down everyone knows what the hunt is cooking. and a slash that says, everyone knows that Bryce and Hunt are mated. Hypaxia, hello, she's back. And she's like, hey, knock, 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 Rune Danon's frat house. And Rune Danon's like, well, this is embarrassing because now you're going to see where I live and how I live, which he goes into vivid detail about how he has a beer-soaked couch and he has myrtle root, which is weed, just like hanging in an ashtray on the coffee table. Goes into it and she goes, okay, listen, the group of witches that I chill with now are not really loyal to me. The moment my mom died, they became unloyal, pretty much. And so she said, because you and me are actually supposed to be engaged, I don't know if that's actually happening anymore, but if we are engaged, it probably just wouldn't look bad if you were with me. You would be protecting me because I know you can protect me. Somehow, I don't know, I think I got distracted. Rune also kind of like tangled Ethan into it. So this is awful angle. I am sorry, but this is how we're gonna do this because I am not going to anger the Fitbit gods. Therion is having a little conversation with Hunt. Hunt is literally telling him, hey, back off. Emil is no longer an issue. And you need to tell your River Queen that it's not an issue anymore. Just pretend like you are gonna go continue investigating Emil. Stay up here and just once in a while go and check up on them. And other than that, you can just not be there. And of course, Therion's like, perfect, this sounds great. I can do this. I can go weeks, maybe even if I'm lucky, months doing this. And he goes, okay, cool. Do you know where I could maybe stay for a while up here? So I think this is the start of like making the frat house even a bigger frat house and an actually legitimate frat house because now they have more than just 3 people. Hi, back to sitting down because I'm not going to be standing if I don't have to be forced to stand. The Hind is actually Hypaxia's sister, older sister, which means she is actually in line to actually rule everything, which is scary because the Hind is a psychopath. So yeah, the Hypaxia thing happens. They're gonna protect her at this party. I think they're going to like a mating ceremony, which if it's Celestina's and that dude's Ephraim's, like how many mating parties do they have to have? That's gross. Then Hunt comes and he's like, hey, I need to go look at something in the library. And Bryce goes, okay, but it's closed. And he's like, I bet you can unclose it. And she goes, technically I can. And so they go and they flirt and they go in a dark corner of the library and they do the do because they just can't stop touching each other and they can't stop being all over each other. And it's actually kind of really hot because they're like doing it in like this public place and just like dirty talking the scene. It's so good. This is a steamy scene too if we're just talking about the actual act, but I actually think that can happen. This is like steamy scene 5, I think. We're on like 5 steamy scenes already. That's so if you are looking for a not a smutty book, but a book with a lot of smut in it, 5 scenes. 5 scenes already that I'm counting. That's something to consider. Oh, and then you also find out, I guess after their bone sesh, we find out that they all apologize to each other and be like, I'm sorry I didn't trust you, I'm sorry that I overreacted. Healthy relationship. We strive, we thrive, we love. But that is it for my updates. I think from here on out, because I got teary-eyed already for like in 2 scenes that already have happened, I feel like we're getting to the part where it's going to become incredibly emotional and incredibly like life-changing things are happening And I think I'm going to focus more on that than actually like every little detail of the story. So every time that something comes up, I will stop. I will make a video, or I will make a video, let you show you what I was feeling, if I was crying, if I was showing anger. But I think at this point we are at a good portion where it's gonna start hurting, I think. And I'm not ready for it because I love every character in here and I don't want any of them to die. And I know eventually one of them is bound to die. So, yeah, okay. Let's go on. Let's continue reading. Let's see where this takes us. Okay, first update of reading. I read pages or chapter 54, maybe also 53 as well. But anyways, big things happened. I mean, like, not big things, but like things that I feel like are pretty important to talk about, which is because Bryce has been talking way too much about being the princess and using it to like get her way and things like that. Autumn King came to her and he's like, okay, cool. By you using my name, you officially have agreed to become the official princess of Genovia. Kidding. But kind of. So now she is considered Princess Bryce Dannon, which she hates so much. And Rune loves to make fun of her. He knows that she hates it with like a passion, and also try to use it, be like, haha, Hunt, you're part of this now too. And Bryce had to be like, actually, he's not. Our father kind of still wants me to marry Cormac, even though it's not gonna happen. And even though I told him a million times that I'm mated with someone else, he doesn't really care. And because she was so distraught and didn't know where to go, and she didn't really want to talk to Fury was gone, and Juniper is still not talking to her, she went to the next person, which is Hypaxia, who, now that I say it out loud, does kind of sound like a medication name. It kind of sounds like, oh, take Hypaxia. Don't take it if you're pregnant or feel like you might have a stroke. So she had a conversation with her. It went really well. They are bonding. Ethan is bodyguarding like Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. That's where I think this is where it's going, but I don't know. Yes, I am holding my preferred bookmark right now as I talk to you. And everything was going well until all of a sudden these gray beasts, these, what do they call them? Grim? What are you called? Death Stalkers. It's pretty hardcore. They come, they literally rip out Ethan's throat, but because he's a wolf, he's already kind of healing. And then Hypaxia, after she kicks ass and kills one of the beasts, and Bryce kills the other beast, she heals him, and he's going to be okay. Thank goodness. But anyways, that is what's happened so far. That's my little quick update. I am on I'm about to start page 56. I am doing sprints. They are talking right now. So I took this opportunity to go ahead and do the update, but after they go back to another sprint, I will continue on and hopefully I will have another update for you tonight. Okay, so I had to stop. I am at page 645 right now. It's not much. I'm so close. But I had to stop because Bryce and Hunt tried to go to the closet room to like have a little private moment because Bryce just like up and said, yo, Hunt is my mate. When they go into the closet room, it's Celestina and Hypaxia. Holy shit. I knew that Hypaxia had someone that she like, okay, I don't know, should I go get my stand? Never mind, it's fine. It's gonna be a quick one. I knew that Hypaxia was into someone else, but I wasn't ready for that, and I am kind of loving it. Like this forbidden romance, sapphic. Oh my god, I was not prepared for that, and I'm so excited about it. I don't know what this means, but wow. That also is a little sad because she is mating Ephraim or someone today. And then also Rune was gonna meet Day and fucking Harpy got in the way. Who was definitely not the Harpy because when they said, oh, I will say day, you say night, and we'll know, blah blah blah. He said day and she was like, who? What? What are you saying to me? So he's like, oh thank God it's not the Harpy. I think I'm gonna continue. I don't think I'm gonna continue too much more tonight just because it's already like, well, it's 9:26. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I actually do have to get up pretty early for work tomorrow. So I probably will read a little bit, but not update you till the next day. So, and here we go. Okay, hi. I am actually right now house sitting. So I'm actually like in their bathroom. So if you hear like an echo, that is why, but it's the only place where I don't think there is like a camera, and I don't want to do this and have to explain to them why I talk to my camera. So I'm gonna do it in here. I didn't bring it with me in here, but I am like 65 chapters. Not 65 chapters. I'm at chapter 65, and we just got like the big reveal that the reason Vaxian is helping them out so much, because if you know, you know, they Pippa decided to like fully attack the rebels with the help of the Underking, because Underking was like, more souls for me to take. Sounds like a win-win situation. So they're like, well, fuck you, first of all, and second of all, rude. But it's not Hunt, Bryce was able to teleport Rune and Hypaxia, I think, out of the temple before it all went down, and she was so tired and exhausted because she also went into like a gate to like and do an announcement to say, hey, we need help over here. These people are attacking us. So she went and did that too. So now after she came back to Hunt, she's exhausted. She can't use her little teleporting skills, which by the way, she's been getting better at. She actually did this whole like montage of her like doing an obstacle course that's helping her get better at her teleportation. She seemed to be doing good. So that was all happening, and we end up finding out the whole reason. And Baxian saved them and found like this little hidden passageway. And Bryce was like, okay, I had enough. Why the hell are you helping us? She finally was like, we're not going anywhere. We're gonna all die until you tell us, why are you helping us? And he says, through love, all is possible. And then he lifts up his fucking sleeve to a heart with Danica's handwriting. And we end up finding out the whole reason is because Baxian was Danica's mate. Oh my god. So this is the second time we have found out about a secret relationship that I am 100% for. I was wondering why Baxian was helping. I just thought it was because he wanted to join like the team. He was tired of the Hind and the Hound. Well, he might be the Hound. He's one of them. He's the Hammer or the Hound. I think he's the Hound, actually. He's tired of the Hammer, the Harpy, the Hind, all their shit. He's tired of it, and I thought that that's the reason why he wanted to be like with them so badly. But end up finding out is because he was a lot closer to this group of people than they even knew, which is baffling to me. It's my update. I had to feel like I had to update because I said I was going to respond or I was going to do these clips, in real time when I found out about it. I just wanted to do an update real quick. That's where I'm at, and holy shit. Okay. I had an idea. Okay, I'm going way ahead. Hi, I am so close. See that little tiny bit right there? That is how much I have left. I literally don't have that much left of this damn book. Uh-oh, I think one of the dogs is going to come in here. But I just got to the part where you find out who finally Daybright is. Yeah, so I had suspicions, and my suspicion was correct. I'm sorry you're hearing a dog. He's very loud. Daybright was the hind. I knew it. Buddy, I can't. I can have all the excitement. You can't, okay? And then when it was like her, I was like, well, wait a minute. Let me just continue on with this chapter. The next chapter, I think it's like chapter 75, and and I was like, okay, just to confirm. No, this is not a red herring. And sure enough, Roan goes day, and she goes, and the hind, Lydia, I'm gonna call her Lydia now because she's a good guy. I think she's a good guy. She goes night. It makes so much sense. The abusive boyfriend who kind of forces himself, that's Pollen. Pollux, but I call him Pollen. The fact that she did see him at the party when they were supposed to meet at midnight. The harpy was out there, but the hind was like, as he was leaving, she was coming out. And so she's like, I did see you. And oh my God, why would it be the hind? This whole time they've been telling him how horrible she is, and it just made no sense to me. But holy crap, that's amazing. I think I am going to be done with this book today, but I don't think I'm going to be able to give you an update till much later after I'm done, because the people who I'm house sitting for are about to come home. So I will probably see you either a little bit later. There probably may still be daylight outside, day, or it actually might be late, much later, and it might be back in my bedroom at night, and I will give you my final feel of Sky and Breath. Okay, see you then. Okay, these are happy tears, I promise. It's also tears are just like, what the fuck? I just got to the last chapter, and oh my god, they're combined, they're together. I always had this idea, like, if because I know people have said that Sarah J Maas's world's like connected. I wasn't ready for that. I was not absolutely ready for that. I was not gonna update you. I was gonna be like, okay, well, maybe I'll read, and like then I can like just say it later. I can't, because I'm just like oh my god. So I knew something was going on. I didn't know what until I'm going to literally read it to you, because it's the moment I was like, wait a minute. Wait a ding dang moment. Here it is. First, a lovely female with the same brown gold hair as the one already standing before Bryce entered. She wore a loose white t-shirt over brown pants, both splattered with paint. Her hands were tattooed to the elbows in intricate swirls. But her blue-gray eyes were wary, soft and curious, but wary. And that is the moment. That is the very fucking moment I was like, wait. is this who I think it is? And then I was like, okay, well, before I get too excited, let me just like get it confirmed. Okay, the next, well, not the next line, but the line of my confirm is, hello, Rice Crinlin. My name is Rice. Oh my god. I'm going to read the epilogue. And I can't read the epilogue with you because I only have one thing, and I can't do it on here if I want to film. I don't know why I can't play an audiobook while I also do this. It's shitty. Okay. But let me go read this epilogue, and then I probably will still again. I will update you later. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Hi. Hello. This is the final clip, hopefully, of this reading vlog. It feels like it's gone forever. Today is January 25th. 8:32 is the time. Hopefully I didn't show you anything other than my beautiful picture that I love. It's of all the Crescent City folks. It's actually a certain scene in the second Crescent City, from what I found out. So that's really cool. But it is that I want to say I got started with this the 8th or something of January. So this has gone pretty like slowly. The last clip, I found out about Ryzan and her going to that world, and that made me so happy. I even fucking cried about it like a little baby. I finally finished the what is it called? The epilogue, I think is what it's called. I don't know why all of a sudden I can't remember anything right now. My little puny little tiny brain. Epilogue. Yes, I finished the epilogue. I can finally give you my final say about the House of Sky and Breath. I am going to probably give this a 4 out of 5. As much as I wish this was a 5 out of 5 star, it doesn't really, it didn't capture me like the first one did. The first one, yeah, there's like world building and it's constant also like info dumping all the time, but this went like heavy on the info dumping, and I feel like almost it was too much. I mean, I can show you my notes again. It's crazy how much I felt like I had to write down because I felt like it was of somewhat importance to the plot, because that little tiny thing is the addendum of this tiny little thing, and then that is to this tiny little thing. It constantly, so everything just like connects and connects, and it doesn't stop connecting until the very end. And because of that, I just felt like this one was not a nice read for me. It wasn't a smooth read for me like Crescent City felt like. You get so captured by these characters and what's going on with them and their real life, and you love Bryce. And as much as I do love Bryce in this, because it does show that she is a badass bitch and she is a lot more important and a lot more strong than she gives herself credit for. And new favorite line that made me teary-eyed is "Long live the Queen." I'm so excited for that to come through and for that to like show maybe in the next book, possibly. We're probably gonna focus a lot on the war. It's almost gonna be like the third one's gonna be like Court of something in Ruin. I forgot what the Avatar third one is, and my little pea brain just is not working tonight. But how like war heavy that one was, I feel like that's gonna be what the third one for Crescent City is gonna be more like, which is not a bad thing because you still get a lot of fun scenes, and again we'll get to see the collaboration of two very lovable characters from each series that I love very dearly. I get annoyed with Feyre and Rysand a little bit, but I still like, there's a special place in my heart for them. Right now Bryce is alone. So right now, like, it's only Bryce, so I would love to see how they incorporate the other characters in the third one, because I hope they don't go too heavy on the ACOTAR characters and like have them like take over the third one, and it still be about like these characters, be about Bryce, Hunt, Rune, Hypaxia, Therion, Flynn, Deck, Juniper, Fury, all those characters. Ethan's now a character that I can't wait to like learn more about, because he seems like he is going to be very prominent and very important in the next series or the next book. He finally woke up the alpha wolf mystic and said, please, I need to go help my friends. You need to wake up. You need to get up. And the last sentence was her opening her eyes. So I'm so excited to see where that fucking goes. He's realizing that his new pact is this family, this found family that he has. And I feel like if anyone is going to talk about how it's beautiful about how Feyre found this found family and all that stuff, now we need to talk about Ethan and his found family too. I feel like that's fair. Fair is fair. But Ethan deserves a lot more attention, in my opinion, because I feel like that is a character that is going to end up being very interesting. And I really hope Sarah J. Maas does not sleep on him. Sarah J, please, please do these characters right. Predictions, I guess. I could talk about predictions of what, I mean, I kind of already did. I think it's going to be a very war-heavy book. I think it's going to be a lot about the combination of Team Rysand and Team Bryce, and how they have to find a way to like take their separate like characteristics from each other, because they definitely go heavily on the idea that Rysand and his group of family, his family, is very like almost old school. How Bryce is so like modern technology, modern life, modern clothes. She even said that one of the people that she sees looked like she was from like a fairy tale, like a fairy tale story. She was dressed like a fairy tale story. I want to say that might have been more. I'm not really sure, or if that was maybe Nessa or Elaine maybe, but yeah, I love that it's two personalities having to clash together, but also find this equal ground to like work together. And then you also want to make sure like Rysand and all of them have a reason to like want to fight too. I'm guessing that they have to. And she finds a way to equally bring out the personalities and the reasons we love the ACOTAR family, and the personalities and the reasons why we love the Crescent City people, the family. I also really want Bryce to start becoming okay with the idea of doing a takeover from the Autumn King, so she can be the queen, and knowing full and well that she has more power than him now. Rune says, I feel like we need to do that. I feel like you deserve this, and it's going to a better place. And she's like, you want a coup? And he was like, no, I want to help you do a coup. And she was like, I don't know about this. I love that the last thing that Rune Dannon had said to Bryce before she walked into like the little portal thingy was, well, long live the queen. It just, my heart. He already feels like Bryce is his queen. He feels like Bryce is so much more important than what she gives herself credit for. And everyone else sees this and she doesn't give herself that credit. And it's kind of a Feyre complex. Feyre never gives herself credit for how strong of a person and of a woman she is. And it's not until her family, her found family of Cassian and Azriel and Ryzan and Mor and Aemon. I can never say her name right, but it's not until they let her know, they like look at her and go, you are important and you need to know you're important and we're always going to back you up. And I feel like that's kind of the same theme with Bryce and her people, is they just have to keep reminding her of her importance and how strong she actually is. I haven't read Throne of Glass yet. I do have the first two, the Assassin's whatever and Throne of Glass. I don't know if those combine as well, or I'm not sure. I just know that it's really sad, according to my friend Carly, just telling me that they get just sadder and sadder, which doesn't help. Also, I'm very wary about it because it is YA. From, if you've seen my first couple of videos, you know how I feel about YA. It's always a shot in the dark with it. It's either really, really great, I love it so much, or I can't even get through it. I'm just like, I'm dragging. And I'm really hoping, because there's so many in the series, I hope I just love it. House of Sky and Breath, it's not like the first one, but it was still fun, and I'm still gonna give it a 4 out of 5 because I still enjoyed it, and I can't even begin to tell you how much I love these characters. I don't know why my connection with these characters are so strong compared to like Feyre and Ryzan and all them. Like, I love them. I love Cassian. Like, I love Cassian. But like, and I love Nesta. I'm a Nesta girl. But like, these characters, they're like my found family almost in a way. Like, I really worry about them. And I got attached to Cormac, and for Cormac to like pretty much sacrifice himself in this, it really hurt me. I'm like, oh. And then the fact that Baxian's actually a good guy, and I'm so excited to see Baxian now. And right now Hind has to, or I'm sorry, I forgot, I'm gonna start calling her Lydia because that is her name, and so she's no longer the Hind to me. She is Lydia. Lydia has to continue doing like this front, so she's still having to act like an asshole, but she fucking killed the harpy for Rune, and she goes, and it broke my heart when like they were in the elevator. I think they were like an elevator or something, and Rune, and she was trying to talk to Rune and like their little head thing, and he kept just putting a fucking wall up, and she just, you how it was written, you could hear the sadness in her mind when she was repeating his name, Rune, please, please, you know. It broke your heart, and you're just like, oh, don't ignore her, she can't help it, she has to be this person. And it didn't help that Pollux was like being disgusting, like licking blood off of her neck and shit like that, and kept saying to Rune that they'll give him a little like show later and things like that. And he's thinking about how like he's gonna break every bone in Pollux's body because of it, and he does still care about her, but he has to like he has to get over this little hump of the fact that she is the Hind, and that she's not actually this bad person. She just had to go like deep undercover, and that's not her fault. I'm already feeling connected to her now, and I don't know. I love these characters so much. Do I want to give this 5 stars? Now that I'm thinking it over, I'm just like, I've never connected with a bunch of characters as much as I connected with the Crescent City characters. I think I'm gonna stick with, yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with 4 out of 5, maybe 4, maybe like a 4.2, even though I just said, like, I think recently I don't like points because I think it's stupid. But I think I'm gonna like give this a 4.2, maybe 4.5. 4.5. I feel good about 4.5. That is it for this reading vlog. Pray for me for the fact that I am having to connect all of these clips together that have gone through January 8th to January 25th. So it's a lot. And I'm hoping to edit it down to a point where it's actually tolerable to watch. Hopefully you will be seeing this fairly soon. And by fairly soon, I mean you just watched it, because you're at the end of the video. So what am I saying? Again, it's very late at night and I have a pea brain. So, outro. Thank you so much for watching. Even if you skim through it, I thank you so much. Any views right now or likes are always going to be so helpful for me. I am a small-time YouTuber or booktuber. I'm just getting started, and I love books. I love talking about books. If you saw how long this probably is going to end up being, you know, I just talked over and over and over. I talk too much. And yeah, if you like this, then like it. And if you feel like you might enjoy my content, maybe also subscribe too. About it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!